I do not edit each photo the same. It is what you all need. I am telling you, I cannot stress it enough. You get what's in the work. Hi, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, what's good? I'm K-Nia. I hope you subscribe, because why not? In today's video, I am going to be showing you all how I edit my Instagram photos. Literally every single time I post on Instagram, somebody DMs me and asks me like what filters I use, what apps I use, how do I get my aesthetic and my feed to look like that. I will be more than happy to share with you all, because your girl puts in the work. Before I start spilling my tea and telling you all every single thing that I do, I first want to show you all the feed that I am talking about. If you have not followed me yet on Instagram, what are you doing? It's literally a fun time over there. I post twice a week, every day on my stories. It's really fun. I would say like my feed is like a mixture of neutral and colorful. I meshed both of them to overall get this kind of brown colorful aesthetic, you know what I mean? And yeah, I'm kind of really into it. It might change soon, who knows. Okay, so moving on from that, after I finish taking photos, to begin the editing process, I use about, I think, 4 apps. I don't use 4 apps on each photo, but I think each app has something very special about them. So just to get them out of the way, the 4 apps that I use are AirBrush, Snapseed, Lightroom, and Planoly. So the first app that I want to go into and show you all is the AirBrush app. This app, I don't use it a lot. I only use it really for specific photos. As you can see, I'm using this photo as an example, but you can go in here and it has features like the smooth feature. This is what I use like if I have like a lot of texture on my skin, or it has a lot of texture in the background that I don't want, I just go in and I smooth it out. I rarely ever use this because I do something in Lightroom that helps. But yeah, that there's this acne feature that I love. You can also go in on little acne spots. I have a few right now, and just get rid of them holes. I love that about it. And also, as you can see in like the background here, there's a lot of like black spots on the garage door. So I just went in and like took those out because we don't like those. There's so many features on the bottom there. You can see that skin tone. It could like shape the it could like reshape your face, reshape your body. There's this like teeth whitening tool. So if you have a smiley photo and you find your teeth not looking too good, you can whiten them. There's also like a dark circle, so if it's like a selfie and you have some dark circles, you can get rid of those as well. Like put different backgrounds on your photos, stuff like that. The next app that I use is Snapseed. So I'm going to do this photo that I recently posted on Instagram, and as you all can see, as soon as we swiped up, there are so many options. Like you can do so much on this app. You could literally use this app as your main source of editing, and it just does everything. This is like the brush filter, and this basically helps you to bring up like the exposure on photos in certain areas instead of like the entire photo. So like if you have a example, if you have a white background like I'm doing here, you can go ahead and like whiten it so the background looks brighter. Also, this is like this detail tool. You could use to change the structure of the photo, so you can make the photo smoother, or you can make it more sharpened. There's a lot of everything that you can do in this app. You can do it on certain areas alone, and that is what I love. So sometimes I'll go in and I'll put like structure on my jewelry so that they stand out more, or on my nails so that you could actually see it on a photo. Healing is, this is so good. This is what you can use to like remove stuff out of the background. As you can see here, like my dirty ass window, I use the healing tool to just get rid of that. I'll clean my window sometime. But yeah, also this feature which is like lens blur, which allows you to focus on the object of the photo and just blur out the rest of the background. I love this one. This works perfectly for this photo as well. There's also this feature, like certain filters, like this vintage filter. Like this is how I edited this photo and posted it on my Instagram. I did a kind of vintage film old camera kind of look on it, and this is the app that I use to do it. So yeah, as you can see, there's like so many different things you can do. You can up the grain, you can up the what is called it, the vignette, whatever that is, brightness, outer brightness. You can just change up so much on this app. The next app that we are going to talk about is my holy grail, and that is Lightroom. If it's one app out of all of these that you'll need to get, it is Lightroom. It is what you'll need. I am telling you, I cannot stress it enough. So getting into the app here, you can see my 1,000,001 photos that I have in here. So for my Instagram, personally, I do not edit each photo the same because I change up backgrounds a lot, I change up styles a lot. I'm going to show you 4 different types of photos that are like on my Instagram right now, and like the ways that I edited them. I'm editing, I try to focus and highlight on my skin tone. I try to make that the focal point of the photos, which is why all my photos look very cohesive, even though they have completely different backgrounds and completely different styles. I have made a lot of my own presets for Lightroom. If you don't know, you can get presets on Lightroom. You can buy people's presets. You can go on Pinterest and just search up like Lightroom presets, and they'll give you like a bunch, and you could just find which ones are your aesthetic, which ones are your vibe, and just copy it off and put it into your photos. So the first type of photo that I'm going to be showing you all is a neutral photo. So the first thing that I do is I go in and I straighten all of my photos, because I just think it makes the feed look so much better when everything is straightened and centered. Crop it a bit, ensuring that subject of the photo, which is me, is between the grids in the middle portion. Now we are going to move on here to the light feature. I always lower the exposure a little bit. I also lower the contrast because I like that like darker kind of vibe. The highlights, I usually send these way back in most of my photos, because when you do this, it allows the colors in the photos to come out a little bit more. Like for example, my skin, like if the sun is hitting my skin, like you can see like all these spots here, it will kind of look washed out and a little whitewashed. So by taking out all of the highlights, it really helps to get the full color of my skin. To combat that, I will always raise my shadows to brighten up the picture a little bit. Also for my whites, I take it out. My blacks, I usually take these down because I like the blacks in my photo, so like my hair to stand out and to look very dark. But however, this photo has a lot of dark elements in it, kind of bringing it up a bit. Now we're going to move on to color. The temperature of my photos are always warm because yes, I like to keep that brown aesthetic. I'm bringing up the vibrance in the photo because it's very, very neutral, very bland. This is my favorite part of Lightroom, and this is the color mix option, and this is basically where you can adjust all of the colors in your photo. Like, it is so bomb. If there's one thing that is so good in this app, it is this feature. You can literally go and change the hue, saturation, and luminance of every single color in your photo, and I love that. So for this one, for the reds, the only red that I'm basically seeing is like that little thing on the wall, and also my lips goes into the reds. So I'm not going to do much for that. You can see I'm just going to do slight little enhancements on that. Moving on to orange. Orange, red, and yellow are usually the 3 colors that determine your skin tone. So you don't want to go too overboard with this, but you don't want to do too little, because as I said, I like to highlight my skin tone in my photos. So yes, I'm carrying the hue slightly up because I don't want to change my skin tone, but however, I'm carrying the saturation up to make it brighter. I'm also carrying the luminance up so I could look, you know, like I'm shining. Going to yellows, I usually like to take these down on photos. I hate yellow in my photos. However, because it is such a neutral photo, I don't want to do it too much, or else all the color in the photo is going to go. The greens, there's not a lot of greens in the photo, but however, if like you all know stuff about art and stuff like that, yellow affects green and green affects yellow. So yeah, I'm just changing up my greens, and blue obviously affects the sky in this photo. I wanted to leave it in, that's why I did not crop it out. I'm going to make it slightly darker and slightly brighter because it's such a small area that I really want it to be, you know, seen. So now we are going to the effects, and usually what I'm doing here is I'm bringing the textures on the photo up. And this is because I want the texture on the wall to come through and show in the photos. The clarity down as well, that really helps to smooth out the photo. So like skin and everything. I bring the dehaze up so that my photo doesn't look whitewashed. So it like really shows the true color in it. I'm bringing the vignette, is that the word? Vignette? Down. And then I'm just going to sharpen the photo slightly. Yeah, that is basically all I would do for a neutral photo, and this is the before and the after. So much better, so beautiful. I hope you all like how that came out. We are going to do a selfie. When I do selfies, I really just like to be very, very minimal. So yeah, I'm going into the light tool and I'm taking down my exposure obviously to make it a little darker, bringing up my contrast a little bit because as I said, we are highlighting the skin. I'm bringing down my highlights to make that color pop. It looks a little scary right now, y'all, but trust the process, it really gets better. Then we're going to shadows that obviously I'm going to bring up to make the photo a lot brighter. Basically all the way up on the shadows. On the whites, we are going to bring the whites down. Again, I don't want to look whitewashed. I want to look like a melanin queen. So I take the whites almost all the way down. And the blacks, I bring that up a little bit because I took so much of the brightness out of the photo. I don't want it to be any more dark than it already is. So I'm bringing the blacks up a little bit. Going into the color, bringing up the temperature, obviously. This is where it starts to look a little bit crazy, but you all really have to trust me on this. Bringing up the tint a whole lot because I really want that to show through. For our vibrance, we are bringing that up quite a bit because it is a selfie. There's not much going on, so I really want it to pop out at you. And the saturation, we're not doing too much on it. Slight, just slightly, because it's looking a little weird right now. Going into the color mix, this is where everything is going to get fixed up. Bringing down my reds, the reds obviously are going to affect my lips. So this is just basically me putting it to where I want my lips to look. You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't want it to be too dark, I don't want it to be too light. Just right in the middle. Now we have to deal with the skin that is looking like a Oompa Loompa. So we are going to take the saturation down a bit on the skin and bring the luminance up, which is going to brighten it up a little bit, as you can see. And it starts looking a little bit more normal now. As I said, I'm bringing that yellow hue down to a little bit more of an orange hue. And I'm bringing the saturation way down because we hate yellows in our photos. And I'm bringing the luminance up to brighten. As I said, green affects yellow, so I am going to use the green to wherever I feel like it looks good. For the light blue, this is my clothing that this is going to be affecting, so I'm going to take it up to make it a little bit brighter and darker. And not have reached the blue hue, I'm going to bring the saturation up because I want the color of my clothing to pop because it's such a small part of the photo. Purples, as you can see, the photo has a very pink tint because I brought the tint up a lot. So I'm going to just play with the purples and the pinks a little bit to just get it to like a normal color. Going into effects now, this is where it gets serious. We're gonna bring that texture down because it is a selfie. I don't want my face to look textured or bumpy or anything like that, so I'm gonna bring the texture down. And I'm also gonna bring the clarity down to smooth out the skin slightly. Again, we're going to dehaze to get rid of that like whitewash kind of look. I'm gonna put like a slight green on this photo. I did like a slight green on the photo. It didn't really make a difference, no it didn't, but I did. And I'm going to sharpen the photo a little bit. And yes, that is what I do for my selfies. This is what I do for almost all of them. And look how beautiful that looks. It doesn't change anything on my face, but it just makes all the colors pop. I'm going to show you all a colorful photo. So right into it. We're going to straighten the photo, and I'm going to crop it because I think it's close enough, to be honest. Into light. So we are taking the exposure down. Obviously, we are going to bring the highlights up, and that is because if I take the highlights down, the colors are going to be too much. I'm bringing the shadows all the way up because the lighting on this day wasn't fire. I didn't have any direct sun on me. Bringing down the whites, you all know the explanation for that. We are bringing down the blacks because I want my braids to really show, and the color of my braids to really show. So I want it to look very dark and give a contrast to everything else in the photo. When it comes to temperature, I'm not doing too much because the photo is already so much. The tint, however, I'm going to put it up straight to 13 because there's a lot of pinks in the photo and I want that to really be highlighted. The vibrance, we're going to put her up there obviously because we love some vibrance in here. Saturation, we're also going to bring her up a little bit. To our amazing mix tool here. The reds are obviously going to affect the flowers, my lips, a little bit of my skin. So I'm bringing down the hue slightly. And I'm also going to bring up the saturation slightly to just brighten those flowers. Look at how those flowers change. I'm going to bring the luminance up because I don't want them to look too dark and too, Skin now. Bringing it down slightly because you don't want to look like a Oompa Loompa. I'm gonna bring that up slightly. It's looking a little bit scary, but the luminance is going to fix that. Yellows, I want to take out the yellows in the wall and also on my skin and everything. So I'm going to bring the yellows to a hue that is more orange. Bring down that saturation because we don't want it. And bring up the luminance to brighten it up. Greens, as I said, there's a lot of greens in the background and in my purse. So we are doing accordingly to help that. We really want the green to pop here against all the other colors. So I'm really going in on my greens. Light blue is going to affect my sky and also my white top. So I'm going in on that as well. As I said, it's a colorful photo. We want vibrance here. We want a lot going on. Moving on to the blues. The blues is obviously going to affect the sky and also my white top. So we want to try to do a little bit, not too much to be honest, because there's already a lot going on. Yeah, I'm gonna bring that luminance way up though. Yeah, it looks a little bit crazy. I'm gonna fix it up in a bit. Don't worry, I will fix it up. Purple is obviously going to affect my pants, and I wanted to make it a little bit darker and a little bit brighter, so I adjusted the hues to fit that and brought up the luminance. So pinks is obviously going to affect my flowers, so I'm going to bring the hue a little bit up because I like the color that they are. I'm going to saturate the hell out of them because those are the focal points of the photo, and I'm going to bring the luminance way up to just make them bright. When it comes to effects, I want a lot of texture in this photo because I want the flowers to look very detailed. I compensated by bringing the clarity way down so that I don't look too textured. The hairs, because we're looking at a whitewash, and I sharpened the photo. Obviously, when I was finished doing this, I honestly found that the photo was a little too bright. I don't know what I did differently this time, but I'm just gonna fix it up, change it up, make it how I want it. But you all get the gist of it, and this is the before and the after of the photo. That's how it looks. This is one of my favorite photos that I've ever taken. I'm not even gonna cap, and this is in our grocery store, and obviously this is one of the busiest backgrounds you can possibly get. So this one we have a lot to do. I'm going to straighten the photo, obviously crop it slightly, and let's get into this. So we are going to bring the exposure down as I usually do, but not too much because the lighting in here is not amazing. So I don't want the photo to be too dark. I'm bringing the contrast down as well, obviously. I'm bringing the highlights way down because there are so many colors in this photo that I want to stand out to you. We are bringing the shadows up again. As I said, this is a very dark photo. grocery store doesn't have the best lighting. Whites, I'm going to bring them down. Have our blacks here, I'm actually bringing it up because as you can see, I'm wearing a black top, black boots. You can't really see me here as much, but if I brought the blacks down, you know, the photo would have been way too dark. And we're gonna bring that temperature up slightly because there's a lot of stuff going on, not too much. Bring the saturation up a little bit because there are too many colors. If I put too much saturation on this, oh my god, it will go crazy. Now let's get crazy with our color mix here. The reds. Red is obviously going to affect my top and some of the snaps in the back. So I'm just bringing it down so that it can. I'm bringing the hue down so to make it pop a little bit, bringing the saturation up because I really want every single red part to pop out. Moving on to orange, I am bringing the saturation down. I'm not only focusing on my skin here, I'm kind of gonna go crazy with the orange. I want the snaps in the background to really show out. So I'm going up with that saturation slightly. And I'm gonna go up with that luminance a good bit. Yellows, y'all know we are enemies to yellows, but as y'all can see in the background here, there are so many yellow packs, so we can't totally take out the yellows in this photo. I'm gonna bring the hue down a bit so that it's not so pasty, bright yellow, and a little bit more mustardy orange yellow, you know. And I'm going to bring the saturation way up. You have a couple of green packs here. I wanted them to look dark. I wanted them to look, because it's not much. So I'm bringing that hue way back. I'm bringing the saturation way up. And I'm bringing the luminance down because I want the little bit of packs that it has there, I want it to be dark and in your face. Blue, however, we're going to bring it down a little bit because I don't want them to be too dark in color. I'm going to bring the hue down, the saturation down, because there's not much blues, honestly. There's like 2 packs of blue in here. Not much blue. Purple, pink, nothing to do with that, so we're not going to do it. Texture, we're going to bring up because I want you all to see every little crinkle in that pack. Bringing the clarity down, but not doing too much because I really want those packs to show the haze. We don't want that whitewash kind of thing on it. And now we're going to sharpen the photo a good bit because we really want you to see all the words there. And this is the before and after. I love this photo so much. It's literally one of my favorites. It's so beautifully edited. Yes. The last app that I use is this app called Planoly. And it is basically an app where I can plan out my Instagram. I can add photos that I've already taken, already edited, but have not posted yet in the Planoly app, so that I can see how my feed looks. If you're really into Instagram and really into your feed looking a certain way and looking cohesive, I would definitely recommend Planoly. Oh my god, well, I'm starting literally so hard. But yeah, that is basically how I edit some of the styles of photos on my Instagram. I do make my own presets. So like, as you all saw me using all of the tools, I usually don't do that. I just go to my presets, click one, put it on all the photos. But yeah, so you kind of have to take some time to develop your own little style on your photos. But yeah, that is the end of today's video. I hope you all enjoyed it. I hope you all got a few tips and tricks. I know I just took you all through the process, but I hope you all understand what I was saying and how I do stuff. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up down below and also subscribe if you want to see more content. Definitely follow me on Instagram to see boatloads of more photos, and now you all will know how they are done. See you all next week. Bye.